Hi, everyone. This is Candace Mae and Mary Denise.
Hey everyone.
We're so happy to be here tonight. It's our launch of our new show. And if you're watching this live or if you're watching it on recording, we just want to welcome you. I can hear the echo. Can you?
Yeah, hold on one second. I'm starting a watch party, so it's doing that. So
Oh, I see. No, it's going to take a few minutes for everybody to catch on and find us. So
there, turn
I
that
just
volume down. Okay. Do you still hear the echo?
I don't hear the echo anymore.
Okay, good.
So we're super excited to be here right now. And we're Mary Denise and I'm Candace Mae. And we're your guides for reframing your life. We want to dig the gold from your past struggles and design the life of your dreams. So welcome to Unshackling Your Voice so you can be seen and heard with confidence.
Okay, I'm Mary Denise, and I'm trying to get this to do a watch party on my business page, but I can't seem to find it. So we're just going to forget about that for now. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm so excited about tonight and what we have to offer you and what we're doing. I think that you're going to, well, I don't think, I know that each and every one of you that starts to tune in with us is going to get some amazing information, and you're going to get the tips and the tools that you need to unstick yourself so that you can be seen and heard in your life. Candace, what would you like to say?
Well, I'm Candace Mae, and I am a public speaker, and I also am the owner of CandaceMae Training and Services. I work with the John Maxwell team, and I really love personal growth. I've been on a personal growth journey for 40 years. 40 years, seriously. And so I've seen all kinds of things in life and lots of systemic issues and generational things that I've been able to work through and break through. And every day, every week, I continue to break through. I've been able to. Now I hear the echo.
I turned it off.
So it's really exciting for me when I can meet with other people and really help them embrace their life, embrace where they're at, figure out what's holding them back, and help them break free, release those limiting beliefs that they don't even know they have. They just go through life and they face what's there. They think it's all normal. They see just this much opportunity when there's this much opportunity out there. And as we find more and more things that are going on, we're released and we get to see bigger opportunities right before us.
Absolutely. So I am also a John Maxwell team member. I am an executive director and have been with the John Maxwell team since 2017. And I've been on a personal growth journey myself since 2011 when I went through a really bad divorce and a really bad job situation. I just kind of lost myself and had to find myself all over again. And so I picked up John's book at the airport. It was December 31st of 2011. I was on my way to Germany because I had taken a new job and I think I was at the Minneapolis airport. I can't remember which one it was, but I was going through the bookstore and there was the book, 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth. And so I read that book on the flight to Germany, and I started implementing what I learned through there. And then I started reading more books and I got more hungry for personal growth, and it led me on such an amazing journey that even my family and my friends have said, wow, you are so not the person that we once knew. So when I came back after 2 years, people didn't know who I was. And I used to go by just Denise. I want to say the first 40 years of my life, I was called Denise. But when I came back from Germany, I said, I want to be called Mary. And I didn't like Mary for a long time. I didn't like that name for like the first 40 years of my life. But then I fell in love with it. And so now I go by Mary Denise because my name together is very powerful. And that is what I like to project, is not so much the powerfulness of it, but I'm owning who I am. And I am Mary Denise. And I am a discrimination life coach that advocates for individuals that have been discriminated against in the workplace so that they can experience true freedom and stop living in fear.
Excellent. That's great. I met John Maxwell. I was introduced to John Maxwell back in 1998 when he first came out with the 21 Laws of Leadership and the 17 laws of teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in a corporate position at the time and brought that material into the corporate company where I was working and had the team actually work through those 17 laws where they were really defining who they were and as individuals and as a team. And I saw immense growth in the team where they were connecting at levels they weren't before, people who weren't getting along we streamlined processes and did everything in such depth. It was so successful. I'll never forget this woman who was almost ready to retire had come to me and said, "CandaceMae." I was just Candace at the time, like you, Denise. I now use my middle name as CandaceMae. Um, my website is CandaceMae.com, so it makes sense that I use CandaceMae, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she gave me this compliment. She said, "Candace, if I had had a supervisor like you 30 years ago, my life would be completely different." And that touched me very deeply. And I have to say, it wasn't me. It was the work that they were doing by embracing the growth that was brought to them. Nobody can do the work for you. You have to do it yourself, as you know.
Yeah, no, you do. You do. I mean, you can't grow if you don't do the work, right?
Yeah.
And too often we just want the answers given to us. You know, a lot of people think that coaches are just going to tell you what to do, but really what we do as coaches is we draw it out of you because the answers are deep within you. You just have to have someone guide you to get those answers out so that you can start changing your life and be able to be, do, and have whatever it is that you want in life.
And it really does take someone else, an awakener, to come to you and really help you see the things you can't see. You
Mm-hmm.
can't see yourself when you're in a frame, right? If you're a
Yep.
picture, you can't see yourself. And it's that way with personal growth. There are certain things that happen in our lives or patterns we have that we do. We don't even see ourselves doing them
Mm-hmm.
unless somebody points them out to us. And then we can say, oh, wow, and kind of look at those in a different layer and reframe them into something more meaningful and actually change our behaviors because behaviors really come out of our thoughts, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Yeah.
they do.
So my goal is to work with companies as well as individuals. I really have been in some workplaces that have been less than civil, right? There have been some bosses who have been holding people back and not allowing them to be their best selves.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see leaders really embrace their leadership, really grow within themselves so they're not managing and micromanaging and devaluing people, but to really break free and become all that they can be as a leader and bring their people along with them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I want to develop the teams into high performance teams where they're really growing and it takes individual work.
Mm-hmm.
And when we see that happen, when we see teams come together and grow in a workplace, what happens? It starts
Magic.
rippling. Yeah, magic happens. It happens in the workplace and it happens in the home. They
Mm-hmm.
start ripple effect starts happening. The families are touched. The family members start to grow. The community starts to get involved, right? Because all of these people are out there amongst the community and their families. So it's a bigger picture that starts to happen with the ripple effect.
Mm-hmm.
And I really believe companies have a social responsibility to society to help develop their people for their
Mm-hmm.
company. They benefit, and then society and the families, the individuals all benefit
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've worked for some people that were quite the doozy. And it makes you wonder, like, really? How did you become a supervisor? You know, you always have those people that you're like, how did you become a supervisor? But when you really sit down and you peel the onion back, you look at what their behaviors were. Those are the people that typically will step on anybody and everyone to get to what they want. They'll throw you under the bus, they'll stab you in the back, they'll call you names, they'll make you look really bad so that they can look really good. And I worked in that kind of an environment for a very long time. And so I my dream is to one day see organizations where discrimination is no longer a problem. And discrimination isn't just the color of your skin. It's what your size is, what color your hair is, what color your eyes are, what your educational background is, what cliques of people you hang out with. If you're not in the in crowd, you don't get anywhere. You don't get those primos, those primo positions. You don't get those training opportunities. You have to look a certain way. And I was talking to somebody last week and they were like, Mary, I'm blonde haired and blue eyed, but I resonate with what you said about discrimination because as a blonde haired, blue eyed woman, there's this expectation that I'm just stupid, that I don't have anything to contribute. And so when I make a suggestion, I'm like dismissed. And then it's like, what do you do? And I'm like, absolutely. And so when she made that comment to me, it really made me start thinking more about what the discrimination was and realizing that it was more than just the protected categories that, are in the law. And so, I think that if we can get organizations to learn how to treat people with value and with respect and dignity, we're going to see a shift in everything. And that discrimination, it comes home. It's like the bully in the playground when you're in school. I was a bully and I was bullied. And that bully takes it into the work environment. You literally go from the playground being a bully and they go into the boardroom and they're a bully. So it
And
just never ending circle.
that's true. It's very true. I think we may have some people online with us. So if you want to post a note, comment so we can see you're here, that would be awesome. I would love to see if you're here. And hopefully we will see you're here because I'm hoping we've got this technology down a little bit. But
I don't
it's
think we're going to be able to
also,
hear them, but we'll be able to see their comments. I can't see their comments on my end.
but I can pull them up. If somebody were
Mm-hmm.
to post,
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you here. Please post. What? Let me type something here. Please post a comment so we know you're here.
And make sure you
I'm
give
gonna,
StreamYard permission for us to do that. You have to go into the StreamYard and
yeah, there you go.
give us permission.
And then when you post, I can click on your message and it'll pop in just like this. So please post comments so we know you're here. That would be awesome, right?
Mm-hmm. So,
So you
Candace, let's
had,
talk.
go ahead.
Oh, sorry, you go
It's all
ahead.
right.
I was going to say, so why don't we tell our viewers just a little bit about what our individual missions and visions are for our lives, so that they understand what it is that we're working towards, and then
Go
we'll
ahead.
give them a vision of what this show is about. My mission and vision is basically I have a desire to one day build numerous housing communities for people that have been impacted by some kind of a catastrophe, an event, any kind of an event, whether it is criminal, natural, whatever. I want to create something for them to be able to go and live and regroup, build themselves back up without worrying about where their money's going to come from, how they're going to pay their rent, but most importantly, their children, the safety of their children. So I desire to one day be able to build multiple housing communities like that, to give people a hand up and help them to truly get that mental health care that they need, to truly help them learn basic life skills, because that is something that is missing drastically in this world. And I want to be able to do that in many, many places.
I think that's admirable. When I was in
Thank you.
my 20s, I had a very strong vision about doing something similar for because I was a single mom at the time, and there I knew the struggles that people face when they're young and they're starting out. And I also had a vision at one time about helping people with those life skills and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I met another woman, Naomi Singleton. She's awesome, and she has a organization, Central Point Integrated Services, and that is her desire. She has such a big heart. She had grown up and had been homeless with her mom herself for a while, so she just has this huge heart and wants to work with grandparents, adopt a grandparent and work with the homeless and mental health. And she's doing services all the time. So I've combined with her as a board member to help her get started in that area. Because at this point in my life, I've decided to move into the leadership realm and work with the teams and the leaders. Since she has that whole dream that I originally thought of serving, under her belt, I can support her in that regard, and we can move into the next level as well with the leaderships and the teams and really make a bigger splash in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so my vision is to do just that, to become
Nice.
a worldwide public speaker, a thought leader, to go out there and speak to the world about systemic issues, about workplace civility, about personal awareness, and really growing as an individual, what it takes to make the change. As we've seen in the world today, there's riots and things going on. There's lots of movement right now. I think this is really wonderful. I mean, a lot of people are scared and fearful right now, but really, if you think about it, for change to happen, you have to shine the light in the darkness. And when the light comes in and it shines on the darkness, all the ugly is shown. And that's what we're seeing right now. So as scary as it might be, I think we can look at it as a silver lining that awareness is here. We are getting the attention on these issues at a higher level than before. And if we can keep it in a peaceful way, what we focus on expands. So if we focus on the riots and the negativity and the fear, that's going to expand and get bigger. But if we can focus on the positive growth that has to happen and how each person has to own it, we have to learn to look at our upbringing, what happened, and what are the beliefs that we have accepted, because we pass on the fears from generation to generation. We may not realize it. We may just think, we're just talking and we're speaking out our fears, but we're passing those fears on to each generation, and it just keeps going like a snowball. So it's time to kind of halt that and really take a hold of what are we saying? Are we living in fear? Is there a way to change how we're living? Is there a way to value each person, right? I think that's really important.
Yeah, no, I agree. Where our focus goes, our energy goes. And so if we do focus on this extreme negativity, there's not going to be a positive change made, and it's time for a change to happen so that we can leave a really good future for our grandchildren, our great grandchildren, and the future generations that are to come after us. I fear for that right now. I'm not gonna lie. I am very afraid of what my future generations are going to have to go through and what they're going to be living under if we don't take control now and start talking about the issues, talking about, our beliefs. Our mentor Paul, he always says belief drives behavior. It took me a long time to understand what he meant by that, but I get it. I get it.
Yes,
Belief
belief
drives
does drive
behavior. If
behavior.
if I if I had continued to believe the things that I believed about myself for all those years, I wouldn't be sitting here today ready and willing to share my story with people.
Right.
Because back then it was like, oh, that's a shameful experience. You should never talk about it. But that's not the case anymore. I
Because shame
learned to
keeps us in
develop.
darkness.
It does. I
Shame
learned
makes
to
us
develop
hide.
new behavior. Mm-hmm.
And people
Yep.
use shame for other people to
Mm-hmm.
keep them quiet and to keep them down and
Mm-hmm.
oppressed. Yes, and we do it to ourselves.
Yep.
We think, oh, someone's going to think terrible things to me because this was done to me,
Mm-hmm.
and life happens, but it's not what happens to us; it's how we respond to those
Mm-hmm.
events that matter.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep. Yep.
that's
You,
that's it.
you,
These are all so deep conversations that we can get into as we go on every Wednesday at 7 o'clock Pacific time,
mm-hmm.
10 o'clock Eastern. We'll be here and we can take these topics and go much deeper. But here's something to really think about. When I grew up, um, we always thought about me as a human. This body that I'm in
Mm-hmm.
is who I am, and whatever thoughts are going on in my head is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And if I die, I'll have a spirit that'll go to heaven. And we used to talk about, is that energy? What does that look like? And so forth. But as I've grown over the years and I've come into numerous communities of growth that I've been with, um, I have really come to strongly believe that we're not a physical body. That's not who we are. We're the spirits within us. That's our identity. It's energy that is our spirit. And this body is secondary. So it doesn't matter the color of the skin or the container that we're in. We're more than the body. We're spiritual beings first and foremost, and the body is more secondary. And so I think for us to add value to other people is important for us to realize we're not these containers. We're the spirit. Look deeper within and value yourself and then value other people for who they are.
Yeah, it's definitely important to value people. You know, I'm a woman of faith as well, and you know, the one thing that I know that I've always been taught is to be respectful of everybody, accept everybody, and do unto others as you would want to be done unto you. So I always have done my best, and I've raised my children to do the same thing, and that is to treat everybody with dignity and respect at all times. Doesn't matter what is going on, you treat everybody with dignity and respect. Because if you don't, that's what leads to the things that have been happening in our world in recent times. Um, I think that as we move on with the show, you know, we want to keep this to between 20 and 30 minutes, um, just to let our viewers know what to expect in the future. We are going to be talking about a wide range of topics. You're going to see us be vulnerable, you'll see us be transparent. We're here to answer any questions that you might have. But we need you to support and we need you to provide those questions so that we can answer them for you, and everything else. But we'll be talking about mindset, we'll be talking about leadership, we'll be talking about success principles, we'll be talking about all the different types of things that we need, the different positive tools that we need to change our perspectives of how we view ourselves, how we view others, and how we behave with that information. Um, I think that the timing of our show, we started planning this about 2.5, 3 months ago. Candace and I got together, and she, you know, we just talked about it and said, yeah, you know, I think that would be really good. And so we just were developing our plan, what we were going to talk about. We established today as the day that we were going to launch, and we did this almost 3 months ago. And so it's interesting and amazing how timely that everything is falling into place the way that it is, because this is the avenue to open that door to have those hard conversations that we need to have. And that's what we want to do. We want to have those hard conversations so that we can help peel back the onions and the layers and help people to just be better people, be stronger people, be smarter people. Do your research, right? Do
Yeah.
your research. Look at all those beliefs that you were taught and ask yourself, is that really something that I believe? Because I will tell you, when I got divorced, I had all these beliefs, right? And I liked all these things. But when I really peeled it back, I realized that everything I liked, it was it was because it was what my ex-husband liked. It was what my
Oh,
children liked. It was what other people liked. And so
yeah.
go along to get along. You know, green was my favorite color. I loved what was it? R&B music. I
We
loved,
lose ourselves
all
to the
this,
family. Yeah.
yeah, we lose ourselves. And I learned that through that process, that what I believed about myself was so untrue. I learned that I actually loved the color red. I learned that I
And you
actually
look great
loved,
in red.
thank you, thank you. And I learned that I loved country music. I learned that I like to eat broccoli. Like things that
How
I
exciting.
never, yeah,
Yeah.
things that I never liked before. But it was all because I had to change the beliefs that were ingrained in me from when I was a little girl, all
Right.
the way through college, and even my own beliefs from reading and watching people talk and things of that nature. So, we implore you that as we go through these difficult times, these unprecedented times is the new phrase, that you really look at your belief systems. You look at what is it that you truly believe and why do you believe it? Why is it a truth to you? Why is it a fact to you?
I'm afraid people may not quite understand even how to do that, because
and that's what we're here for.
right, because it really comes down to think about what you're thinking about, really, right?
Yeah.
So keep it as simple as you can. If you are making a decision or you feel you can't do something, why can't you do it? Ask yourself the question, why can't I do this? And when you get the answer back, maybe you need to write it down. When you get the answer back, ask yourself, why is that true? Is that true? Or is that just something I believe? Is what makes this true? Because sometimes it's more of a fact or a circumstantial situation than the truth. Because we're more than our circumstances, and we're more than our past. Our past doesn't equal our future, right? But a lot of us don't know that. A lot of us are stuck that I grew up this way, I'm always going to be this way. No one in my family has ever done this. No one's broken through. But what do we know? We know that when we see one person do it, we know it can be done and we can move beyond. Like the athletes in the Olympics, when they go, I worked in the Olympics in '84. When the Olympics are running, they hit a threshold of how many minutes can they run, per mile. And when they break the record, it's a huge deal because the record's been set for generations, and then all of a sudden somebody come along and broke the 7-minute mile, right? And then all of a sudden everybody follows, and they one after another start breaking it. But why couldn't they break it before? Because they had a belief it couldn't be done. So it just takes somebody, and you've got lots of people, and we're here as an example as well, of breaking through barriers that have been in our lives. Does that mean we're perfect? No. Does that mean we have no more barriers to get through? No. There's always more. There'll always be more. We'll continue to grow our whole life. So we want to invite you to grow with us.
Absolutely.
And we're hoping that you'll join into the conversations and leave us some comments, and we'll get better with this technology, because I can see there's like 7 people online with us right now. And so you can pop comments in there and we'll pop them back and talk with you. Or maybe there's more. Maybe there's 10 right now. So I don't see any comments though. So
well, with that, we appreciate everybody that joined us tonight. We look forward to seeing you again. Invite your friends. But we'll be here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah. So we'll see you next Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye, Denise.